Welcome, guys. And we're here back for another episode. We're going to talk about the EPL round this week. And we've actually got another special guest with us, Josh Porter, who doesn't look like a happy man, but he is quite a happy man. So I'm not too sure what the look on the face is. He's a Liverpool fan though too, so he's probably still feeling the pain of the
That's why he's unhappy.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I'm not too pleased, but I've got that smile still.
And you're winning every week. That's why.
No, it's not about the results. It's just because he's a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, right, all right, sure. So yeah, Josh is joining us. Josh is a mate of ours for a few years now. He loves a bit of football. He's come to me to a few games around Australia. He was lucky enough to come to the Australian Cup, the Asian Cup final, where Australia won, which is a bit of historic kind of time, I suppose, in Australian sport. And I'm really glad I was there. And to be honest, I'd do it every day of the week again if I had the opportunity. And I'd love to talk about that in greater detail one day, Josh, and we will do that. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk through and tell you all the games we've got this week in the EPL, and then we're going to touch on a few, and we'll go around the room after we've done that. So the weekend starts off with Fulham versus Wolves, moves on to Man City Leeds. Then Liverpool versus Villa, hopefully not another 7-2, followed by Crystal Palace versus Chelsea, Burnley versus Newcastle, a lower league game. That is potentially one of those could go down. West Ham against Leicester, exciting game. Tottenham against Man United. I'm interested to see if anything will happen with that one. We've got Sheffield United, Arsenal, and then two last games, West Brom versus Southampton, which doesn't really appeal to me too much, and Brighton versus Everton, which doesn't appeal to me at all, but it probably should. I just don't like Everton. Talking about those fixtures, lads, there's not anything that blows my mind away this week. There's a few fixtures which I'm excited about. Josh, what do you think on the Liverpool Aston Villa? Do you think we're going to have the upper hand this time as opposed to our horrible, I can't believe, like the 7-2 loss we had at Villa last time? What do you think is going to happen?
I think it's really weird when you think of Aston Villa. When you come across Aston Villa, you think of a lower mid-tier club and you think Liverpool should win each fixture. But every time, we've gone and watched a couple of Aston Villa games at the pub and you just feel iffy every time with Aston Villa. They've just always, had the wood on us or just always looked dangerous against us. So not really that confident. Obviously, I think we'll have one eye on the Champions League, the second leg, but pretty dangerous Aston Villa. Not as confident as I should be.
Just a question, like again, something I'm happy to answer as well. Surprise, surprise. But what do you both think on Liverpool's front three? Who do you think should stay in? Do you think they should change that front three totally? What do you think the approach should be for this game?
I think for me, it's actually pretty hard to change it. It's kind of, do you stick to the tried and, the winning formula of Mane, Firmino, Salah? I think if we're looking a couple of months in ahead, I think you're going to have to change it up. Salah's always been linked to Real Madrid and Mane, the Africans Cup next year. So Mane will miss the first couple of months of the EPL for that. I just think, and Lyric being a non-biased supporter, I'd love to get his opinion, but I actually think maybe other EPL clubs have actually woken up to our front three a little bit, and maybe we've been a little bit too predictable. And we're kind of relying on individual brilliance these days to score goals rather than a team structure like we did, last year or years before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, in my opinion, from what I've been watching, I mean, Liverpool still look threatening in terms of chance creation, but they aren't as lethal sometimes. And especially over the last few weeks, since Jota's come back, you're winning again, I think. And most of the stuff tends to come through his movement or him trying to do something, even though you have got that front three. So if you start with him, which is what everyone would expect Klopp to do, then what do you do if that's not working in 60 minutes? Go back to the old version of the front three, and there's a bit of things I think that Klopp would need to work on and understand. So in my opinion, what he's doing right now is working well. So he might as well stick with that. Plus, he doesn't want to, for any reason, try and he wants to try and risk he doesn't want to try and risk Jota in any way now, considering he's only played what 4 games since he's back from injury, in about 40 minutes each game, 45 minutes each game. So you want to try and do that again so that he's already and set for the next Champions League fixture, which is so crucial. And from what I saw from his interview as well, Klopp sort of seems to think, we'll just give it everything, so they'll just go for it. They're not going to change the way they play. They're not going to go defensive or the plan B that we talk about. So they're just going to play the same football that we know they're going to play. So if it's something's been working over the last 3 or 4 weeks for them, I think they want to stick to that, and that'll be the smart option, and the safe option as well. But we never know. So I don't think particularly anything bad has happened. I just think that there's a life cycle, and that's why you need that fresh blood in. Every great manager in the past, or every good team in the past, has had to do that, and so they had to change a little things, like a few pieces of the puzzle need to be changed so that you always keep that squad rotation competition in the team. So they've tried to do that with Jota. I think they would have done that. Doing that with a few more positions would have been great over a period of these 3 years. So yeah,
I think what's difficult as well with Liverpool is that we don't have the luxury of resting players and focusing on the Champions League. In prior years, we've pretty much had top 4 locked up, and I think now we're 7th on the table. So if we lose games like this, we may not even make Europa next year. So it's going to be very, very hard to attract the talent we want to bring in next season if we don't make, Champions League football, Europa League. It's going to be very, very hard to attract the players we want. So we can't really be resting those players like we did historically. We've got to essentially win everything moving forward.
Yeah. I think we will still attract top talent. I don't think Champions League is the do-all or end-all for us. And the reason I say that is because of Klopp. I think a lot of young players would like to work with Klopp and would like to be in his team. And I think a lot of people would guess. I think it would be quite silly to think Liverpool were going to finish outside the top 4 again next season. It might happen. I'm not saying it's definitely not going to, but I think it'd be quite silly to do that as a prediction now. I think we should start with Jota on the left. I think Mane should be dropped. Mane's just been everyone talks about Firmino getting dropped and stuff like this. I still think he adds so much to that team. I think Mane needs a break. He's been working non-stop. He's been doing a lot. He's like Jota in the fact that if he is on the bench and you bring him on, he is just electric for that 20 or 30 minutes when he comes on, and it's just like it's non-stop. It's like it just doesn't stop. He doesn't stop running around, and so I think that could work for us. And then we'll see. But I suppose sorry.
If we looked at Aston Villa as well, Jesse Lingard is absolutely on fire at the moment.
He plays for West Ham, mate.
That's West Ham.
See?
No. Lingard is on fire.
Aston Villa confused.
Yeah,
I always but we'll talk about West Ham in a minute. But
it's because of their
always get confused. But Aston Villa always a threat. I think pretty much Liverpool are out of fuel. We've got to roll the dice a little bit. It's kind of one of those things where our season's pretty much dead. Champions League football really probably isn't a target for us now. Just got to basically make it to the end of the season healthy and welcome back players like Gomez and Van Dijk next season and attack it again next season.
I couldn't disagree more. I mean, we're only 1 point off 3 points off or 2 points off Champions League. So I think that's not very much with 8 games left. We just need to keep a consistent team and we'll get the top 4, I think. I actually think Leicester are going to fall off. I don't know if Chelsea will fall off more, but they could. We've got to win though. That's the main thing. But again, everyone's got different opinions. I think, Liverpool fan pages, so many people are thinking the same thing. We've just got to rest players and we'll be ready for next season. I'm like, it's not really how it works. Resting players now doesn't make them fresh for next season. I still have hope against Real Madrid, but who knows? Every single prediction I've done in the last 3 or 4 shows, I think I've got totally wrong, which is it's devastating for me. That's all right.
For the league, though, besides City dominating the league, it's an actual, West Ham, Leicester being back to what they were a couple of years ago and looking early on title contenders. it's if you take away City away from the EPL at the moment, it's a pretty even league, which is exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. There's a lot of teams kind of battling it out. I'm glad we don't take away Man City, because then this guy's shitty team would be at the top, and they would have probably won the league too. So that would have killed me. I'm hoping they don't win another one for another 20 or so years.
Yeah, I still don't think they're going to make second place even now. So that's just me. I feel like there's a few more points they could drop. But saying that, yeah, the closest team then is Leicester, and I feel like they could drop off as well.
Yeah.
So I know we've said this for a while now, or leaving Liverpool out or leaving Man City out because they've had such exceptional seasons, but they've just set the new standard, and I don't think the other teams are up for it yet. I think there's a huge gulf in quality, and you just got to accept it. That I don't think till Klopp and Pep are gone there, no one's going to be able to take that spot away until there's a new manager who comes in and you sort of uses that same philosophy and starts blowing teams out of the water and play that kind of football. You can't do that and get those number of points playing defensive football. And this is why, moving on from the Liverpool game as well, using this time, because we do want to cover United, Tottenham, but it's also bigger, not because of United, because that, I think top four is probably, you've got one hand on top of United. It's more for them from the Tottenham point of view, because they would like to think that they want to be in the top four, because they're not too far off from the top four again. And from the two styles of play, again, Mourinho is a lot more susceptible to drop points. Klopp, you will say, oh, it's going to be a win or a loss. Mourinho, you probably say, oh, it could be a draw as well, like a big chance of a draw because of the way he plays. They almost always lose the lead. And that's not, as much as people like to say, and he said this statement, oh, same coach, different players. It's the same coach, but that same coach he's been missing for ages, man. Like, he's not the same coach who only let 15 goals in for an entire season with Chelsea. That coach is long gone. He's not the same guy who won Champions League titles and Premier League titles and with Real Madrid and all of that. He's not the same guy anymore. So
I think Mourinho, though, Mourinho has always stepped up to the occasion for these type of matches. Whether it's been against Chelsea or
not recently. He hasn't recently. He's been
that's
probably the last 6 or 7, actually more, maybe the last 8 to 10. Like when it comes to 8 to 10, probably last intense matches where he's had them against his old clubs like Chelsea, against Man United. He's very rarely won them. He lost to Lampard twice. He's lost to Solskjaer, right? The last one I think he did. Was it he lost to you guys last time? I think so.
No, the last one he won and he patted him on the back. So that's why this one's much more sweet. And that's the only reason I felt like that looks like such a thrashing is you can see this season what it means to go down to 10 people, like 10 men teams have been battered. So 6-2 wasn't a good result up until 2-2 when Martial wasn't sent off. It was a fair game. Yeah. So I feel like he's I feel like I look at him and there's a higher probability of him dropping points than Klopp is. Klopp might go for 3 points and end up with 0. Mourinho will go for 3 points and end up with 1 or 0. And that probability is much more higher because of two results that could happen. I don't know if I'm getting if you're getting what I'm trying to say, but it's the way he plays. If he's in the lead,
it's negative football anyway.
Yeah, it's negative football. And
I hate negative
all it takes is one mistake, and then you're back in, drawing suddenly, and then you're losing suddenly, and all of that. And he doesn't have the goal to come back in those games. He's not playing players like Bale because he wants his wingers to defend. If it was Klopp, like for example, you don't see Klopp dropping Trent Alexander-Arnold because he's not defending, and here you have Mourinho dropping Bale because he's not defending. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, see the difference in quality. You've got an attacker like who's meant to play right wing,
and he's a phenomenal
Mourinho's
player.
Like, he doesn't track. Yeah, exactly. Every time he plays, he does well in track. You can have a CDM cover his sit and his side of the shift at the back and say, play to your strength, but you're not a 26-year-old or you're not in the prime and with all the injuries. So we don't want you to just go up and down the pitch. Just do what you do on top of the pitch. Yeah. And you could try and play that. And I don't see him get critiqued enough for that point. But I'm sure a lot of people have ripped into him from dropping Bale and all of that. But
to be fair,
that's my opinion. I think.
in terms of your comment about a CDM, Mourinho's always had, a top class CDM. So you think of Matic and that type. He doesn't have that at Tottenham. So, historically where he's had that CDM where he's, like you mentioned, he's probably built his teams around a solid CDM and building from there. Yeah. He has probably arguably the best attacking three in the Premier League, but he just doesn't have that centerpiece CDM like he's had in his winning teams.
I think Holberg is that player. I think Holberg's that player. I think Holberg is probably in the top three centre defensive midfielders in the whole Premier League. Problem is the way he plays with the rest of the team. So, although you've got Son, who I reckon could get in any other Premier League team, Harry Kane, who could get in any other Premier League team, and Kane, they're both unbelievably dangerous. I'm not even going to talk about Bale because I don't think he'll play. But those two, I think, will. Oh, no, is Son injured? I'm not too sure. But either way, those two would get in, and they're both dangerous. So the thing is, on the day, Tottenham can, if they go off the book, Kane can get a goal anywhere. We know that. Bergwijn can get a goal anywhere. We know that as well, because if he comes on and wants to do something, he can. I think at the back, they're susceptible to conceding as well, quite a lot, which is weird for a Mourinho team. And that's maybe where you're talking about it, Josh. I think that tightness has never been there before. I mean, it's always been there before. I think with United, I don't know, but I could see they could potentially get a decent win against Tottenham here. I think, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think it'll be a cagey affair with playing two at the back and all of that. But United will play the more. I mean, they're both very negative football sort of playing teams at the moment. This entire season they have been, but United will be a little more adventurous because you might play Pogba in that pivot, in the two pivot in the middle. And then he might play the front three with Greenwood, Rashford if he's fit. And I think Martial again, knee injury, but he might be back as well, and Cavani. So you've got that chance of them doing well with Fernandes in the middle and all of that. And then you've got with Tottenham, Mourinho, I agree to Josh's point, but at the same time, I feel like he's got a decent enough squad to play better than that. He's just never played the same level of football. He's the same guy who won stuff with Porto. Yeah. And, it wasn't, he won the Champions League with Porto. No one was betting money on that. He just got better out of the squad he had. And off late, he just seems to, from the time he's been in Chelsea, he's been backed and all of that. He just seems to want the players, like the already proven players. He's never been a fan of the youth and all of that. And let's be honest, that football's gone. He's not evolved with it. As much as, we love that old era. We all know, we all have our favorite coaches, managers, Alex Ferguson, whatever. They would have struggled today as well because they would have had to adjust their philosophy to today's world and the way they play football. And that's why they were good because they kept adjusting. People who've managed over a long period of time in all over. But Mourinho doesn't seem to want to adjust. He just wants to play the way he plays, and that's where he struggles. It'll be interesting top four anyway. But
I feel like I'm getting seasick, Lyric, because your camera is just like this. It's like do the whole time. I feel like I'm getting seasick.
I need to buy a stand that keeps it. Yeah, I need to buy a stand that keeps it stable because it's holding my hand, and after 20 minutes,
I just noticed I was doing this, and then I'm like, why am I moving?
You're being Indian, mate, doing this. What else?
Sorry?
I was just going to say that's what makes Guardiola so good, that people think just splashing cash on your teams is going to move you up the ladder or win you Premier, leagues where, yes, City has splashed the cash, but Guardiola's always
so much cash. 200 million on fullbacks.
That's true. He spent so much cash, but he's always been able to form a team, which makes him so special.
And he's adjusted a little bit. Like you wouldn't put. I was very surprised the way he adjusted. One of my biggest critics, and I was never a Guardiola fan. I still not am. Just because I don't like it because of City and all of that, the money and all of that. But at the same time, you got to give him props for doing what he did with his defense this season. I never saw that coming from him. I thought this guy will try and play similarly. He'll just get better and better players, and he'll say, "Oh, let's make Plan A better. I'm not going to go to Plan B." But this season, I've seen that shift where he's gone, "Okay, let's solidify the defense." He's almost, stepped a little bit into Mourinho's shoes, but in the right way. and sort of said, let's solidify our defense, and then once we held the fort at the back, let's continue the attack and the press the way we did. So I was impressed this season by what I saw with City, and that's why, although I still have his critique on big games and what he does and whatnot, like for example the Champions League, but he's still adjusted in a way, or he's still finding his rhythm. I just don't see a lot of the big managers do that enough, and they're almost a little too scared to make any changes. This guy could, he's possibly got everything to lose. He's probably got a very lucrative deal with City. He might not, there was a chance of him not getting an extension, all of that, and there was all this talk about him not extending his contract. And then he does it. He just changes the style he plays. He takes that risk. Yeah, it could so easily go back wrong. It could backfire, and they could say, "All right, this is not what we signed you up for, so we won't extend your contract." But he takes the chance. He does that. And he's a good coach.
All right. So I'm gonna have to put a stop to the conversation, guys, because we're already 20 minutes, and the meeting time's gonna run out as well. So we're gonna run out of everything here. So really quickly, West Ham, Leicester's going to be another great game. Some brilliant players out there. As you were saying, Lingard's just in fantastic form at the moment. I think we might see another good performance from him. But I actually don't know who to call in this match. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I would have called Leicester, but we know they're good at collapsing towards the end of the season. But I don't know. I think it will be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to watching that one. It's on at 11 o'clock for us as well, which is a nice time. Yeah. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, and I can't. Yeah, definitely not going to be complaining about that one. One thing I will briefly talk about, guys. Briefly, opinions. Again, not too much conversation, but opinions on the El Clasico match. What do you think?
In my opinion, Real Madrid, after what I saw, how they dealt with Liverpool, I feel like Real Madrid are in a good spot. They might actually win it. They're probably high on confidence. I know that doesn't mean that they necessarily lead or win, but I think they have a good shot of winning this. I think what do the booking odds say? Do you know?
I think Real are favourites, but I'm not 100% sure, mate. I'll have to check.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually if Real Madrid actually won it, but it's still going to be a close game. It's not that they're going to run away. And so because Koeman's playing decent for this squad that he's got at the moment, so I do like the look of Barcelona, but I think Real Madrid's had longer, and he's got a more stable sort of squad, so they might nick this one.
Yeah.
And challenge for the top of the table. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, for me, it's El Clasico. Form goes out the window, toss of a coin, always hard to predict. I'll probably jump on the Barca bandwagon personally. I think they've got more, obviously with Messi, but they've got more X factor, I think, than Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are a better team, but I think Barcelona have the more X factor to kind of whip something from nothing. So toss of a coin for me, but leaning towards Barca.
Yeah, I was probably leaning towards Barca myself. I'm just, after seeing the way Real Madrid and Kroos and Modric ripped us apart in that midfield, I'm worried. I'm very concerned. So I think it could be a close one. But if Barca win, they could go top. That's huge. They could potentially be in a league winning position. So that's going to be a big match either way. I think the result is huge. If they draw, it's great for Atletico, but I don't think that will happen. We'll wait and see.
Jack, just a quick one for me. One word response from both of you. Who would you pick, De Bruyne or Kroos?
De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I think surely because of his age, not Kroos anymore. But to be fair, I think
I would have had the fact that I think over years, I reckon.
Over him, I would take Kroos more than over De Bruyne, because I think De Bruyne is almost the number one. Has been the number one for the past couple of years. But before that, and because we haven't seen that team that much, and we don't see the Spanish league week in week out, I think Kroos is fantastic. I think he's got a wand of he's 2-footed. Like, I'm saying that because he actually's got quite a good left foot, which probably De Bruyne doesn't have that much of. When I compare him, he's not bad, but you compare Kroos to his left foot versus De Bruyne, is really good. Both very good long balls. They can ping balls. They can do. They can finish well. They got a wonderful shot and all of that.
Josh, this is what we have to deal with when it comes to a one-word answer. he goes on for 25 minutes.
At least he's wearing a shirt.
Well, he's got a shirt
So,
on, but it's still a sleeveless one.
So what do you? So I think Cruz. Anyway, what's your pick, Josh? Since you asked that question,
I can't split them. I think they're both equally fantastic. I'd have them both Liverpool in a second.
I'd have Modric over Cruz. That's my opinion. But there you go.
Oh,
big call.
big call.
All
right.
The last thing I wanted to touch on one more thing quickly, guys, just to say that my cousin, who is a Parisian and lives in Paris and is a lifetime member of the Paris Saint-Germain supporters club and everything, he was going a bit nuts last night and messaging me when they were winning. And so he's going to come on and talk from Paris. He'll come on and have a chat before the next round. And he's going to be very happy, I think. I would be if I was him. So he'll be on. That'll be Thomas from Paris. So that'll be nice and fun, because I think he'll be quite excited to talk about his team and how well they're doing. And that phenomenal.
We'll look forward to that in the next video. I think this season's got so much interesting. I will just wrap it up here. But I think the top four and the fourth place battle and I guess the 16th, 17th place battle is the only thing to look forward to at this moment in the league, because this could set up for that blockbuster last game relegation day sort of battle between Newcastle and I guess Fulham. That'll be
Newcastle,
so
Fulham, Burnley, Brighton. Could be any of them, man. There's a lot of teams down there now.
It could be all of them, but it would be an amazing story if on the last day, because that's the last day fixture, isn't it? Newcastle versus Fulham, and they're very much within reach. So on the last day, how amazing would it be if it is, whoever wins that game goes through, that kind of a story.
That's
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
and for one team, yes, but for the other team, it will be everything. Well, so imagine where Fulham was down in the dumps, and suddenly they pull up a miracle, and they just nick it on the last day. That'll be a big surprise. And Newcastle don't not deserve to get relegated by the way Mike Ashley's done. I mean, I feel bad for the Newcastle fans, but it's all on Mike Ashley. I think he wants to liquidate the club. That's why he's trying to get them down.
He's disgusting. He should be gone. But that's that's another story, isn't it?
That's another story.
Just like a lot of the owners.
Lots to look forward to coming in the next few weeks, and we'll still catch up again to discuss the results of the Champions League with your friend or your cousin.
Yeah, excellent. All right, well, thank you very much, Josh, for coming on. Listen, everyone, like, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment underneath, guys. We haven't been getting many comments, but please do comment and let us know what you want to see, and we'll be happy to do whatever you like. All right, thanks, guys.